Nisargadatta said this, "You people come here wanting something. What you want may be knowledge with a capital K, the highest truth. But nonetheless, you do want something. Most of you have been coming here for quite some time. Why? If there had been perception of what I have been saying, you should have stopped coming here long ago. But what actually has been happening is that you have been coming here day after day, identified as individual beings, males or female, with several persons and things you call mine. Also, you think you have been coming here of your own volition to see another individual, a Guruji, who you expect will give you liberation from your bondage. Do you not see how ridiculous all this is? Your coming here day after day only shows that you are not prepared to accept my word, that there is no such thing as an individual, that the individual is nothing but an appearance, that an appearance cannot have any bondage, and therefore there is no question of any liberation for an appearance. Do you even now realize that if the very basis of your seeking is wrong, what can you achieve? Indeed, is there anything to be achieved? By whom? By an appearance? This is not all. Whatever I say is being tape recorded by some people. Some others take down their own notes. For what purpose? To make the conditioning even more powerful? Do you not realize that there never has been any question of who? Whatever has happened has been spontaneous. Where do individuals figure as individuals? Nowhere, and yet everywhere, because we are the life being lived. We are the living of the dream, but not as individuals. His words echo in today's talk called The Cotton Tree. Now, even to listen to Nisargadatta's words, it must be understood that he sounds like a man giving a message to another people, even if it is a very different message than most human will ever hear. Yet, it must be realized that there was no person identified as Nisargadatta who had a sense of speaking words of wisdom to an audience. There was never any sense of a person speaking at all. Words attach themselves to what seems to be a personality, a body-mind organism, but they do this thing in very same way that the cotton fibers of the simul or cotton tree float in the wind until they wrap themselves around whatever comes across their path. What appears is merely the wind speaking, words that are not attached to any concept of a separate person. Then thoughts imagine the appearance of a body-mind organism and attach the words to that organism. Thus is created the illusion of a person. And when the speaking is free and unattached, you may label the person a Guruji. Yet only thoughts that create the illusion of a separate person seeking liberation or truth can ever imagine such a situation. Only when the illusion of the individual's separate self is created by thought, which is simply imagination. Is there anyone seeking to be free from bondage or suffering? This illusion is far from what is simply happening. far removed from simply this. And that is why Nisargadatta says it is nothing less than ridiculous. Yet it is also impossible for anything other than what appears to happen. If I told you I believed that the strands of cotton fiber that wind themselves around a street light pole in New Delhi are intentionally sent by the simul, the cotton tree, and that the street light is aware of receiving the strands of fiber, you would say that is ridiculous. In this very same manner, Nisargadatta says, thinking, you are an individual making a choice to come and attend a talk given by another individual you have labeled as liberated is equally ridiculous. Until this is obvious, there will only be confusion. But what thought labels as confusion is also only what is appearing. For there is no separate understanding distinct from confusion. Ultimately, the very concept of confusion and the very concept of understanding are only strands of cotton floating in the wind. When it is seen that the very idea of understanding and the very idea of confusion are themselves imagined concepts that only make sense to thought, seeking truth of understanding becomes impossible. It is simply the case that there is no process whereby some layers of confusion or misunderstanding fall away, and what is left is clear and true, and liberated from the realm of illusion. Such a process is only one more idea created in thought, in imagination, and it is a process that can only be imagined as happening to a separate individual. This is why Nisargadatta says the very basis of your seeking is in error. It is not that the manner of your seeking is in error and you can correct it by finding a better and truer way of seeking. Whether meditation or inquiry or transmission from a Guruji? No. It is the case that the very basis of your seeking is rooted in the thought of a separate individual. And as such, seeking liberation is as ridiculous and impossible an endeavor as jumping up into the night sky to grab a star and take it home to light your home. Nisargadatta clearly says that there has never been any question of who. We are the dream living itself, but there is no individual, no separate person living the dream, any more than the strand of cotton floating in the wind that looks as if it chooses to go east or west, higher or lower, wrap around a tree, or fall into a field, or disappear into a body of water, is choosing its destiny and path in life. I am not telling you it is wrong to listen to this talk. I am simply telling you that all that is happening in all of what you feel are your experiences in life is the very same as cotton fibers dancing in the wind. Are the fibers separate from the wind? Are you separate from life? Love is the wind that moves all appearances, and even to call it love is to project a word upon what is well beyond language or thought. Yet words float in the wind, and from this mind-body organism you call Prisha, love seems to be the word that is spoken. You will never be liberated. You will never be free. You will never be self-realized. you will never be enlightened. You will never be, for you have never been. Nisargadatta said, love is all pervasive. The whole world is an expression of love. Love is all that appears, and yet it is nothing at all. Without individuals, without things, without time, without space, there is only love. There is only love.